Seguimos avanzando y abordamos un nuevo aspecto de la persecución.
We shall continue, and we shall move on to talk about another aspect of the martyrdom of Christians. And right now, we're going to hear from a person who was a Muslim and was converted to Christianity with wonderful consequences, of course, a wonderful effect, but also some terrible, extremely tough consequences. In certain Muslim countries where they have the Islamic law prevails, to convert from Islam to Christianity it turns you into a candidate for a death sentence and often execution by your own family. Joseph Fadelle is a writer. He has a fatwa upon him, which means that he has to live and in the knowledge that at any time somebody who represents a god may try to kill him. So this is why we really appreciate his presence here with us today. Thank you very much. Could you tell us how you were converted, how it went, how it occurred, the whole context of the war and this process by which you came to Christianity despite belonging to a Muslim family?
أول شيء أحب أعرفكم بنفسي. يعني سابقا كان اسمي محمد الموسوي.
I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mohammed Fadelle Ali. I belong to the Muslim majority, the Shiites. In Iraq. In my family there were 10 sisters and 10 brothers. My father was the head of the tribe, and God. When I went to do my military service, that was the first time I met a Christian. But in Iraq, there are many Christians. But when I did my military service, that was the first time I had ever met a Christian. And first of all, this Christian, he was a cultured gentleman. And this Christian gentleman was a very good person. So this Christian asked to read the Quran. He wanted to understand it very well. And we looked at Islam, and Muslims learn the Quran often without understanding it. They just memorize it.
¿Usted conoce a este cristiano? ¿Es la primera vez que usted tiene contacto con el cristianismo, religión? ¿Pero su familia es hostil?
Is your family hostile to this change, to your conversion? As I said, I met this man during my military service, and this was a very important factor. I wanted to convert him to Muslim.
Non, c'est pas français, arabe, c'est mieux.
Adelante.
ماذا تلحق علي أنت مينا؟ أنا آسف. المهم هذا المسيحي اللي طلب من عندي بأن أقرأ القرآن.
This Christian friend of mine that I met during military service asked for me to help him understand Islam. And the highest figure in Shiite. Excuse me. If you say one phrase and then we allow the translator to translate it afterwards, so we do it consecutively. A phrase and then the translator, although he was in the booth, he's going to do it consecutively, so we have to leave some time. And that way we won't lose the message.
وتعمدت بال 2013 سنة انتظار.
I knew Jesus in 1987. I was baptized 13 years afterwards. And during those 13 years, I spent 1 year and 4 months in prison. I escaped from Iraq to Jordan, and they tried to kill me.
الحقيقة
Why did they send you to prison? Well, they thought that by torturing me I would renounce Jesus. And during my time in prison, they thought I might forget Jesus and go back to my previous life. Was it your family that that brought about this torture to help you to send you back to the family? Yes. Yes, but my family is obliged to do that. It is their duty. Because if somebody leaves Islam, they must be killed. They feel obliged to torture a member of their own family. So your parents would feel it is their duty to have their child tortured if they wish to leave Islam. Is that what you're saying?
طبعا كل أهلي أكيد كل أهلي وبالنسبة للموضوع.
My entire family, not just my family. In any situation, any person would feel called upon to kill them, because if that person has chosen to leave Islam for another religion, to give up Islam for another religion, people feel bound to kill them. Was it just pure violence we're talking about here?
No, إسلاميا هي ما في يرجعوك، في قتلوك فقط من غير.
This is something that cannot be negotiated. It's just a matter of killing. They just want to kill, and according to the Quran. It is not possible to negotiate because the Muslim law establishes the duty to kill this person. It's not something that can be discussed. There are different interpretations of the Quran, which talks about how extraordinary life is, that it is not acceptable to put an end to life. I'm sorry, but the question has not been understood. I did not understand the question, I'm sorry. Could we perhaps repeat the question, please?
Complicado, ¿sabe? Estoy hablando con el traductor, lo siento, sé que ustedes no. La pregunta es, se me ha olvidado ya, la pregunta. ¿Hay interpretaciones?
Are there, well, at least, let's say, I know that there are people who interpret the Quran in a different way, and they say that Muhammad says that you have to respect life, that we must not kill.
بالعكس ما في يعني.
Quite the opposite. The Quran, there is only one Quran. There are many interpretations, but the Quran is always the same. It does not respect life. The only religion which kills others is that of the Muslims. It orders Muslims to kill others. In Europe, to say these kind of things in Europe right now is almost considered sacrilege because, well, you can be accused of hate towards Islam, scorn towards the Muslims, or disregard, disdain. Well, there's a difference between Muslims and Islam. I pray every day for Muslims, but I am against Islam.
أكيد المسلم هو المسلم مثلي مثلك مثل الجميع.
So you can distinguish between these? Well, they are just like us. Islam is the idea, the thought. When you were converted to Christianity, your wife also converted to Christianity and you fled Iraq. Is that right? But in the end, they managed to track you down, your family, the people that want to kill you, they found you even though you had escaped Iraq.
يعني نشكر الرب هم فقط في الأردن عثروا بي وحاولوا يقتلوني ونشكر ربنا رب.
In France, there was an imam from Syria. They wanted to kill him. Oh, I have 4 children. Sorry, there is an imam who wants to kill me. And I can't be, I have to be careful where I am. I have to constantly change my location. So you have to constantly move around.
لا أكيد كل فترة الحقيقة البوليس الشرطة اللي بيطلبون من عندنا إحنا بنغير السكن.
I have to, yes, I have to change my place of residence, yes. Do you know more cases like yours of people who have converted to Christianity, people living in Europe, perhaps? No. And if people know of this or hear of this, nothing is said. Many people have died. We are persecuted and nothing is done. There's the supposed crime of apostasy. Is there no time when that crime is considered past, let's say, and they cease to persecute you for that crime, the crime of apostasy? There is a fatwa which has ordered my death, and that fatwa can never be withdrawn. It is an order that has been given that I must be killed, and it lasts forever. what about your children? What happens with your children? Well, thank the Lord that one of my sons, the eldest, was looking for Joseph, or doing a search for Joseph Fadelle on internet.
Il dit attends.
So
¿Es usted? Vamos. Felicidades. Supongo que es mejor adoptar ese.
I imagine it's better to take that attitude before when dealing with life, yes, because it must be difficult with 4 sons to constantly be looking back. Yes, to looking behind oneself to see if there's anyone there.
Espero o sigo preguntando.
الحقيقة الشيء الضروري نفهمه بأن احنا المسيحيين ما بنموت. لازم هذا الشيء الكل نفهمه احنا مسيح.
The most important thing is to understand that someone who has been baptized does not die. That death is life for others. If you announce that you decided to deny Christianity, would they then let you live in peace? Well, yes, in Iraq they would, yes, of course. And in Europe? In Europe, people who are persecuted for their religion, are they safe? Are such people safe in Europe? In Paris, I suffered an attempted attack by a Syrian imam. When did that take place? Was that a long time ago?
يعني بال 2011.
In 2011. So very realistically, very recently, then you have suffered attacks against your life. There are people who want to kill me in Jordan, but there was the Syrian one who wanted to kill me. That was in France. Have you ever thought of renouncing, of abjuring? I cannot deny Christ because I cannot breathe without Jesus Christ. And if I did that, it would be like suicide.
He leído una frase suya.
I have read a phrase of yours which I would like you to explain. Thanks to internet will help in the end of Islam, or to put an end to Islam. What do you mean by that? Internet is the start of the collapse of Islam.
الإنسان المسلم ما بحاجة إلى الشيخ والإمام لأن كل
On internet, we can investigate without, people can investigate without having to talk with the imam, so people can be investigated using internet. Sorry. Sorry. For you to forgive, is it easy for you to forgive? If we talk of forgiveness, is it easy? Do you think we can put a stop to this persecution, this cruelty, the jihad? We must understand that Muslims are victims of Islam, and just like everybody, they're victims. God created us all out of goodness, but the ideas of the Quran have been converted into something else. When they start to make declarations about this, about the Quran, Muslims could decide to leave. And what about if we're talking about this radical Islamic movement which is extending around the world? What should the governments be doing in response to this? In my opinion, Islam is supported by certain governments, and also certain media supports it. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that answer. Do you think it could be repeated, please? You're not. I'll repeat the question. If we talk about Western countries, in order to slow down or to put a stop to radical Islamism, what can the governments do? What can the governments do? Do you think you could possibly repeat the question, please? Creo que no oímos. No oímos. He's speaking in French. Okay, sorry.
Del que vendió 50.000 ejemplares.
You wrote a book, and 50,000 copies were
Il parle dans le Coran parce qu'il
it's
y a des versets dans le Coran qui disent tuer les autres. Pourquoi les livres pour Hitler c'est interdit, le Coran n'est pas interdit dans l'Europe? لازم يوضحون القرآن للمسلمين أنفسهم. يعني في آيات واضحة للقتل الآخر والتحريض على القتل ويعني في آيات كثيرة يعني تأمر بالزنا في الأطفال أو المرأة عندها نصف عقل في كثير أشياء لو بيوضحوها للمسلم أكيد المسلم حيترك الإسلام.
Sí, sí. Ya, lo entiendo. Muy bien. Lamento los...
okay. So I'm really sorry for the problems with the translation in the presentation by Mr. Fadelle. If you allow me to have the book. The book is in Spanish. The Price to Pay, well, it's called The Price to Pay. It was published in 2010, and in just 1 year he sold 50,000 books. So it's the story of a conversion and of his history, of how someone that was Muslim could become a Christian and the price he had to pay for it. I recommend the book to you, and I'm sure you'll find it here very, very, very close, in fact. So thank you very much, Mr. Fadelle. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.